Welcome back, Hive Mind. This is Shalazar with Hive Mind Gaming, coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. So, we got a big one today. Everyone's heard about the fusion that's starting. Well, apparently it's starting tomorrow, so get ready. I hope you've done your prep work for an upcoming fusion. It will be an old school fusion, question mark. So, the new fusion is actually going to be a bastardization of the fragment fusion and old school fusion. So basically what they're doing is they're doing the main guy here, Underpriest Brogni, will be fused by 4 epics like the old school fusion is. The problem is those 4 epics are going to be fragment fusions. So that means no rares. There will be no rares, so we will not have any new rares or old rares to try to get to fuse the epics. We have to get fragments for those epics and then fuse those, level them up to level 50, ascend them with 5 stars, and then fuse Underpriest Brogni. So, kinda, I don't know how to feel about that, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But, I don't know. They always make getting the epics really, really hard to pull them in events and things. But with fusions seem to be very, very easy compared to old school fusions. They seem a lot easier. I'm hoping that the fusion pieces or the fragments are a lot easier to get than they normally make the rares to get. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess, tomorrow when it comes out. But here we have Underpriest Brogni. If you haven't seen Underpriest Brogni, he looks really cool. And I'm telling you guys right now, you've got to do this fusion. This guy is just a beast, and he's going to be a game changer. So his kit attacks one enemy, has a 45% chance of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns. His A2 is attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance that books up to 100% chance of removing 1 random buff from all enemies, which is pretty good in itself. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, books down to a 3. But it also has a 75% that books to 100% chance of removing 1 random debuff from all allies. So he cleanses and strips buffs at the exact same time. But still he does them at the exact same time. Increases the value of shield buffs on all allies by 30% of the damage inflicted. So he attacks, strips a buff, removes a debuff, and then increases your shields that you already have on you. So the bigger your shields just got bigger. All right, and then his A3, which is on a 5-turn cooldown, books down to a 3, places a block debuffs buff and a 50% increased attack on all allies for 2 turns. Also, places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. The shield buff cannot be removed, so they're gonna have to beat that shield down. If this dude's quick enough, he can pop that 30% shield and then increase it by another 30%, especially if he's in something like a Relentless set and he gets an extra turn. Oh my goodness, that's a 60% shield on all your guys. That is pretty beast. And then his passive, whenever an ally under a shield buff is attacked, reflects 25% of the damage inflicted on the shield back to the attacker. Also heals that ally by 25% of the damage inflicted on the shield. If there are multiple champions in the team with this skill, only one will activate, which makes sense. And then he's got a resistance aura in Doom Tower by 60. So he is going to be good in everything, man. He's going to be a game changer. All right, then we've got another legendary coming out. She's a Void legendary. She's a support for the Shadowkin. Her A1, now this is my first time looking at all these champs. I wanted to look at them all and get my reaction with you guys. All right, Rio Bone Spear, legendary Void support Shadowkin. Attacks one enemy, places a 15% continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn. Also places a 7.5% continuous heal buff on all allies with 30% HP or less for 1 turn. So she's doing the big continuous heal on the one with the lowest, but anyone that has 30% or less is getting the small continuous heal. Okay. Her A2, Pressure Points, places a stun debuff on a target enemy for 1 turn, as well as HP burn debuff, a 60% decrease defense debuff, a 25% weaken debuff, a 50% decrease attack debuff, and a 30% decrease crit rate debuff for 2 turns, then attacks that target on a 4-turn cooldown, books down to a 1-turn cooldown. Holy crap! Places a stun debuff on a target enemy for 1 turn. Okay, so stuns them for 1 turn. As well as an HP burn, a big decreased defense, the big weaken, the big decrease attack, and then crit rate. Wow! Holy crap! I mean, she does it all. If you had her on your clan boss team, that's all you would need. You would just need a poisoner at that point. That's it. Just DPS. Poisoner and DPS. And defense. Oh my god. That's so good. Alright, her A3 Perfect Body. With that art, maybe. I don't know. Removes all debuffs from all allies, then places a block debuffs buff on them for 2 turns. Also heals all allies by 35% of their max HP, and by a further 5% for each debuff removed from them. It's on a 6-turn cooldown, books down to a 3-turn. Of course, she has, 14 books? That's not horrible. I mean, still about 3 more than it should be. But it's not horrible, I guess. When receiving any debuffs... Before I go on, I mean, it's really bad when it gets to a point where you're looking at a legendary with 14 books going, well, it's not bad. Compared to everything else coming out with 18 books, 14 is not horrible. I mean, where have we come to where we're saying 14 books is not bad compared to other stuff that's coming out right now? Jesus Christ, Balerium. All right, now back to the passive. Reflect. When receiving any debuffs, instantly transfers them from this champion to the attacker on a 3-turn cooldown. Will not transfer debuffs that cannot be removed. Oh, interesting. Okay, cannot be removed. Interesting. All right. Increases ally attack in Faction Wars crypts by 42%. All right. Well, yeah, she's good. Holy crap. She's definitely a void. That is for sure. All right. Now we go into our epics. These are I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So all 4 of these are going to be a part of the fusion. All right. So we've got Finchi. He is an epic force attack Shadowkin. Hate Blades is his A1. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. And that increases to 40% with books. His A2, Nowhere to Run, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. Now that's on a 4-turn cooldown that books down to a 3-turn cooldown. And it also books up to 75%. And of course, 75%, he's gonna land it. That's really good, actually. That's not bad. So you have the opportunity of decreasing turn meter by about 45%. So, wow, yeah, that's not a bad ability. His A3 Killer's Bile attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit places a 5% poison debuff on the target for 3 turns. Wow, 3-turn poison. That's pretty good. And he hits 2 times. And each hit, and it doesn't say he has a chance to hit or to land the poison. He just does. So that's pretty good. And it's on a 4-turn cooldown, books down to a 3. So he's going to land 2 5% poisons each time he does this ability. Will ignore 10% of the target's defense for each poison debuff on the target. I mean, that's going to be pretty good. I mean, other than the fact that he likes to read a lot, I mean, he's going to be pretty solid. Yeah, he'll be pretty good. All right, Gizcard Sigiled. Now, I heard that he was fixed. I think they were talking about it. Yeah, so okay, this was the guy that they said that they were going to redo. All right, so let's see. So he's an Epic Spirit Defense Bannerlord. So his A1 Foe Breaker attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 1 turn. Let's see. So that books up to 75% chance. That's pretty good on an A1 to have decreased attack. His A2 Lion's Roar attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. And that's going to be 50%. That books up to a 75%. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, books down to a 3. Also places a shield buff on this champion equal to 25% of their max HP for 2 turns. So that's a okay ability. I mean, that doesn't... I mean, there's people that do it better, I think. Attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. So it only provokes them for 1 turn with a 75% chance when booked. I don't know. I guess because he's an epic, and it is attacking everybody with a provoke. And then also places a shield buff on this champion equal to 25% of their max HP for 2 turns. I mean, that's not bad. I guess AoE provoke with a shield is not bad at all. Places a 60%, or his A3, Field of Strength. Places a 60% increased defense buff and a 25% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, books down to a 3. I would have rather taken a book away, making it a 4-turn cooldown, and giving it an extra turn. Do this, give an extra turn, and boom. His passive fills this champion's turn meter by 15% when they are attacked by an enemy under provoke debuff and increase attack buff debuffs. Wait, okay, that doesn't make sense. Provoke debuff or increase attack buff debuffs. Okay, something's not right there. So if they have a provoke or an increase attack buff, then he gets the increased and he's attacked. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that I don't know. Yeah, Jesus Christ, the way they write stuff is hilarious. Okay, And then his aura increases ally defense and faction wars crypts by 27%. All right. Well, I mean, he doesn't seem horrible, but he doesn't seem broken either. Or great. I don't know. Wow, he looks cool. Skimphos the Consumed. He's an epic void attack demon spawn. That kind of looks cool, though. His A1 Growing Hunger attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit has a 25% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. That's a 35% chance that books up to a 45% chance. The second hit has a 35 that books up to 45% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. Okay, so the first hit has a 45% chance to place the decreased speed, and the second hit is a turn meter reduction. Alright, attacks all enemies on his A2. It's Clutch of Woe. Attacks all enemies has a 75 that books up to 100% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. After attacking, transfers all debuffs except Stun, Freeze, Sleep, Fear, True Fear, and Provoke from all allies to this champion. Huh. So he takes all their debuffs except for the big ones. Except for the 6 big ones, which is kind of lame that he doesn't pull those. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, books down to a 3. His A3 is Curse Bearer, transfers all debuffs from this champion to a target enemy, then attacks the target, steals 100% of the target's turn meter if this attack is critical. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, books down to a 3. So that's a really cool ability. Like a really good ability. Yeah, I like that a lot. His passive, Twisted, heals this champion by 5% of their max HP for each debuff on them at the start of each turn. If this champion is under 4 or more debuffs at the start of the turn, places a 60% increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. I mean, he steals all their stuff on a 3-turn cooldown. And he gets this for 2 turns. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a really cool ability. It's very similar to, without the top part, this bottom part is very similar to the one orc that no one ever uses because he's horrible. The one that looks like Angar, but is not a void and is not very good. But he has a similar ability where he steals 100% of the turn meter. I don't know. That's a really good ability, but all the other, I care less. I really could care less. His aura is increase ally attack in Doom Tower by 30%. Alright. Alright, well, we got Mordecai, who looks pretty cool. He's an epic force support from the Sacred Order. Purgatory is his A1. Attacks one enemy. Has a 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. Has a 60% instead if the target is under a HP burn debuff. So it's a 30% chance that books up to a 45% chance. His A2 times Undoing has a 75% chance that books up to a 100% chance of decreasing the turn meters of all enemies by 15%. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. As a 3-turn cooldown books down to a, or 4-turn cooldown books down to a 3-turn cooldown. That's a pretty good ability. And then Heavenly Flames has a 75% books to 100% chance of placing a HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. That sounds like a Spider-Man to me. places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 3 turns. Huh. Yeah. That's a spider champ right there. All right, increases ally accuracy in all battles by 40%. So, yeah, that's pretty darn good. All right, and then what did they change? So, having watched the videos, we performed additional testing on the champs, and it became clear that one of the new champions, Grizzcard, his skills needed adjustment. So when the champion appears in the game, his Lion's Roar will have a cooldown of 3 turns when maxed out, and has passive skill Egotist will fill the turn meter by 15%. This way, the champion is more balanced and fits better in the current meta. Alright, so that's it. It already shows on here, so it doesn't show what it used to be. But yeah, alright, well, I knew they had changed one. Knew they had changed him, but I didn't know what it was, because glad you changed the Gizgard passive and 2-turn cooldown provoke. That would have made him very OP. Oh, he had a 2-turn provoke. Oh, so this booked down to two turns. So attacks all enemies, has a 50%, books up to a 75% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Also places a shield buff on this champion equal to 25% of their max HP for 2 turns. So the 2-turn shield, he can keep his shield up, but it's only on him. But the provoke, 2-turn provoke, that is pretty strong. I mean, that would be pretty darn strong if that was a 2-turn provoke. Or 1-turn provoke, but every 2 turns. Even at 75%, that, I mean, yeah, that could be pretty devastating. That is for sure. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these new champions. Also, let me know what you think about this new way they're doing the fragment fusion, bastardization, amalgamation, whatever you want to call it. This mixture of the two. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. But either way, that's all I've got for this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, hit the like button and join the Hive by hitting the subscribe button, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.